So adding glasses to that equation, oh great.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I think what's more likely is that Crystal's not feeling too well, because they're on the table, not on his ears. So I hope he gets well.
Braz right here. I've deduced. That's some Sherlock Holmes stuff right there.
There we go.
I've deduced this is the case. All right, well, we're getting onto the rift here. And we'll be Snake and EDG one more time. We could go to a game 3. It seems unlikely. And, you know, we came into this match and we were saying that, like, we honestly are expecting Snake to at least get, you know, our win right here. But
yes,
seems like a bit of a pipe dream.
I wonder, as we take a look at the keystones here. Nothing too suspicious. No warlords here. A lot of fervor. I'm surprised about that, maybe just because, of course, crit build coming out of my boy. Actually, no, he's just probably going to be going towards the. He's probably going to be going towards the Blade of the Rune King side. So fervor makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. Raz, as we look towards the mid lane here, it will be Scout and Zatai. Well, already you can see the solution is going to get the better of that Victor pick. Seems like Victor would be a fantastic pick in solution, actually, as Hoodie takes the man mode route into lane and gets punished for it.
Yeah, I wonder, did he take Thunderlord's Victor? Because quite a lot of times we've actually seen the Victor pick into the Lucian just so you can get out of the lane with Deathfire Touch, proper trading with Q, auto attack. You get the shield as course so you can mitigate a little bit of the damage.
Yeah, SOFM is going to be just packing through his jungle here as well. And he's heading into the river. Okay, so he might be clear on these raptors. We'll just we'll check out his positioning. Actually, just going to finish off the crab now. Maybe look towards the top lane. He's got that level 3, of course. And that is a very pushed up mouse. Yeah, I mean, SOFM, he sees this in his sights. He should be able to follow. But lands a Prey Seeker, flash, knock up. A little bit too easy, honestly. Probably didn't need to flash that one, but he did also exchange that flash for a flash for a mouse. Yeah,
easiest trade in your life right there. It's kind of unfortunate, I wonder. I mean, sure, Shen does well very early on into the Jarvan. Proper trades, of course. Have your Qs, giving you extra damage. So Mouse is very confident in taking the trade, so he doubled down. But you have to be aware of jungle positioning at all times, especially a Rek'Sai.
Go back into the top. Oh no. Oh, not like this. Well,
classic.
No. Mouse, he doesn't have flash as well from the last play, and he's dead again.
Yeah. Look at the wave too. So this is a problem where Shen, yeah, sure, TP back into lane, but I need to have this pushed up. I need some help. I need aid. And of course, Clearlove right in front of you is probably in an awkward position where it's like, I wasn't there for my top laner. Now he's 0-2. And so this is just so you see what that is. Of course, in the recent patch, Elise lost some base damage from 50 to 47. Have proper clear. I think it's a justful nerf just because she has been good for so long. Has been that early game jungler that just hasn't been touched for a long time. So getting a lot of bans this time around. It's open. And maybe, just maybe, that nerf had something to do with it.
Maybe.
That's what I'd love to believe.
It's funny when, you know, small micro changes happen like that, because people it kind of pushes people very, very slightly from picks, or even reminds people that exist actually exist. You know, picks actually exist for them that they can go towards. These small buffs, just little reminders. And honestly, for a long time, it actually feels like that. Those champions could have been good even before that buff. So it's like, you know, give them 5 AD here, take away 5 armor, and then people are just like, oh yeah, maybe it's not so good anymore. Yeah,
especially in the most recent patches where you're just getting a whole slew of nerfs, buffs, a little bit of buffs as well, just so you can keep certain matchups in order. I know that Fizz, if we're talking about the mid lane specifically, has been getting a few look at from a few mid laners, just because some poor matchups that he's had, just getting hit time and time again.
Yep. And honestly, it does feel like, you know, pick like Fizz just live and die by those patches for himself. I want to talk about top lane again though, because, you know, that was 2 early kills down onto the Shen. He has recovered a little bit, but it means he's down, you know, a wave up towards maybe a wave and a half to 2 waves, which could be very frustrating to play against. But typically, when you're in a situation like that, it can spiral out of control very, very quickly. You know, Like, if you die two times early on and the wave has already crashed and then you lose like 3 minion waves, then you're just absolutely annihilated.
Yeah. And so in this case, even though we talked about it in the early game, focus might be for Snake to look towards bottom lane, maybe just for the Varus pickup. That changes ultimately just because of those 2 quick kills easily in Jarvan's pockets. So you can see now Snake having to play towards the top side just because why not? You're at a massive lead just off of now items. So that might even shift Clearlove's focus just so he can make it so Mouse is just not that in that position for too long.
Yeah, SOFN getting his blue buff here as well. And yeah, going into the top lane for gank number 3. This time it has been warded though.
Yeah, this time it's actually really difficult just because Shen is full HP, of course has his W, so you're just not going to be able to dive him for that long. I don't agree with the decision if they follow through on it.
Oh, Scout doesn't really want to particularly dance under the Cisco ball, so he'll dodge out of the final tick.
Oh.
They're still chasing him down, and he'll get the culling off as well. Might even get the solo kill. Does not choose to flash after.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to be in. That being said, here comes the dive that I just don't think is going to work.
All right, who's tanking? Mouse going to block a lot of these auto attacks, and he's only down to half right now. Jarvan's buying all the time he can while SFM is trading. We're going to go for round 2. Well, I know in the mid lane for certain, Clearlove's going to get this kill into Zatai.
Now that dive makes a lot of sense because Scout handily won that trade. And I don't think Zatai should have stayed for that wave, but he tried because that wave was too massive. Look at that wave. It was a cannon minion.
And now
wave.
he loses all of it, and he died.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you can see SOFM just focusing on that top dive so much, and it didn't work at all. There was no reason for it to work. Mouse still has TP and Flash. He's going to TP now, but the fact that he kept Flash showcases how confident he was to repel that dive.
Yeah, what it does do, though, is just put more pressure down on top of him, so he's falling behind more and more in CS. He was 3 waves down and will probably be so as Flandre returns to the top lane.
But that's going to be the ideal scenario for Mouse at this point in the game.
Yeah,
because we've known Mouse for absorbing pressure throughout his career thus far. He's been a real carry threat recently, but the fact that now he's 0-2 and 0, but now he's able to absorb that much pressure on the map, it's already turned into a benefit. It's already turned into a free dive for Clearlove in the mid lane. So right now, if you're SOFM, you kind of have to change things up. Maybe come top lane if Shen has lost a few trades, and if he's lost maybe 30% of his HP, then that dive is easier. Not when he's full HP.
So there is a discrepancy in the top lane, but still, you know, Scout just got a big advantage over Zatai, courtesy of Clearlove. Even though he didn't get an assist for his troubles, you know, he did all the legwork, and Clearlove just turns up and kills his mid laner.
Get in there!
This would be a tower shot as well, actually. Jumps back to the minion, a little bit awkward. Yeah, forces Ivory to stick around. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, trade happening, but the teleport coming down from Mouse should be a kill. Shadow Dash is going to confirm that kill.
Ooh, and he's going to get the kill too. Mouse is living pretty hot right now, and it's all because of EDG's focus towards the mid lane. Scout is sky high, and it looks like they might even get this turret. I wonder who gets it first. Looks like
My money's on Flandre.
Yeah. I wonder, yeah, he's going to be able to do enough damage. All right, that's a lot of gold coming into Flandre's pockets.
650, first tower of the game. Hello, Tam Kench. Yep, Flandre, he's a pretty rich man.
All right, they paid a high price for that mid lane dive. Flandre is in a pretty good position now. So I wonder how much, I mean, sure, Mouse absorbed quite a bit of pressure earlier on, but I think Jarvan should be not in that lane anymore. Like, we've seen Flandre rotate towards the mid lane time and time again earlier on, and he's done that in prior series. So this time around, now he's on the Jarvan pick. He can make it happen. He's already level 8. So once he's able to use Cataclysm on top of Scout, it's going to be a little bit easier for him now to make an impact.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well for himself. He's got a Tiamat and Phage and the makings of Ninja Tabby. So once he, puts them all together, 2048's it, then he'll be in a great spot for himself. But even now, he's very far ahead. He'll be able to nuke down anyone he touches. Alright, bit of a scuffle in the jungle. Yeah, bot lane's pretty even as well. We've got a small advantage over to Crystal. Of course, he's prioritized the Varus pick into the Ashe. It'll be Dragon's Dog stop this pretty early, actually. Well, 10 minutes in. It's run average, actually.
Yep, and especially with this bottom lane working out with Crystal and Hoodie, as we previously mentioned, that they can get this for free There's no way that iBoy and Mako are going to walk up for it. At first, you know, be suspicious, but at that time, they've already lost, or at least the Dragon has already lost half his HP. So not enough time for them to look to contest.
Not going to be happening here. Yeah, we're about 11 minutes in. Had a good couple skirmishes so far. There's always that sinking feeling. It's like, when are EDG really going to pounce? Because they always make a power play, you know, like, Snake are ahead here, or they're like, you know, roughly even. And in this game, they are actually ahead. You know, they've also picked up an Infernal Dragon, great. But like, at some point, EDG will make a play, and it's going to be them instigating it, and they'll just somehow get super far ahead.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot of it comes down to understanding your win condition. This time around, Snake, their win condition is in Flandre. Just because he's so far ahead, you want him to get on the map as soon as possible. Meanwhile, EDG, their win condition can be through their bottom side. Sure, they're behind in CS, not by much, but you have level 7 on iBoy, so he's going to be able to use an Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Your mid lane is actually winning handily. He's getting very close to Blade of the Rune King. So they have such a strong bottom side of the map to create action and to just kind of play around once Shen ulti's up, that it's going to be on Snake to actually play that defensive lineup to try and stop that bottom lane dive. So EDG have a lot to work with.
Really do. It's just trying to get to that point right now. But it's also the fact that iBoy's on Ashe, so while they have the pick potential, it's not the same as saying, well, we get to like 30 minutes, we got the 3 items on Cog, we're just going to kill the entire team, even though that was an option for them. But yeah, EDG did move away from that. I believe Maokai wasn't banned, was he?
It was not, so it was just kind of passed up entirely.
Yeah. So EDG could have just taken the easy route and just literally done the same composition, but maybe EDG are just trying to, you know, win with a different composition while they had the chance to get some practice on stage.
That's true, and practice on stage is always very valuable, especially for iBoy, just so you can get the experience down, so you're not phased by any changes, any bit of adaptation. Especially since EDG has already proven themselves that they can play with an early, late game composition and win in the early game. Now, we've seen very recently that they can have these 26-minute wins, or 26-minute stomps, I would say. They can do this time around, and in fact, that's probably their goal.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't want to be EDG going up against WE in week 10 and being like, well, we could play the Ashe comp, but we've never tried it on stage before with iBoy, so maybe not. You know, so getting some practice here, just knowing it works. Because, you know, Snake are playing relatively well. You know, they're not just going to, like, lose regardless of what you do. So EDG actually get, like, a good punching bag.
Yeah, that's the benefit of going up against a team in week 9, quite honestly. I feel like a lot of them are going to be competitive. We see this globally. You see teams like Vitality in EU or Phoenix One in NA. A lot of teams, you give them this much time, they will have great play.
This is going to turn around because here comes the Shen, and actually it's just a complete fiesta in that fight. But it looks like EDG on the back half of this. Scout gets the first kill onto Zatai, the 1v1 though. Look at Crystal, he's backing it up, and he's kiting so well against Mouse. Mako caught in the pit, and Snake, it's going to be pretty easy to find him on top of that. 3-for-1 trade so far, and iBoy flashes away, takes the blast plant over. Oh no, disaster strikes. That's not a ward, that's Herald.
He didn't want to do that, he just wanted to follow iBoy. But you know what, the job is done. It didn't matter. That's 3 kills on the side for Snake.
3-on-1, and eventually it actually does work out because Crystal was stepping up to take the tower, even though Flandre has to collect the minion wave. So there's not going to be an extended push on this one, but it will be the tower take regardless to Snake. And as we were saying, you know, there's always that feeling of EDG getting the better of them. Overall, Snake just came out massively ahead.
Yeah, we're going to see the start of this. It looks like they started with Snakes making the play. They find themselves clear love. The best thing about it was that there was a second play. The fact that Zatai was getting hopped on to scout, but it didn't matter because of how large this Jarvan was. SOFM and Flandre, honestly, were picking flawless targets on top of Clear Love, on top of Scout. 2 members down. iBoy and Mouse will have nothing to do with that, so they bounced out. Did we get this? Yeah, we get the close-up. We have to get the close-up. It's the only way you do this.
Might have actually been able to pick up an extra kill there, you know, if he actually got the ward and the follow after with the flag and drag.
That's true.
It would have been max range, but there's a possibility, but yep. Yep. That's what happens when you put your Herald on your top laner who still wards at this point in time.
Everybody has those moments. I know junglers like Lee Sins, ward hop. No, just kidding. That's Herald.
Yep.
That's not what I want.
Did you want to be just stood here for 4 seconds? Well,
no one expected in Season 7 the Herald was going to go to your trinket, all right? We didn't want our trinkets to be replaced. We wouldn't mind if it went into our item slot so we can press the item. That being said, that's making the assumption that your item slots are not completely filled. But the fact that I'm losing my trinket, I'm not too much of a fan of that.
Yeah, it's you know, it's an elegant solution, but maybe you should just not be able to pick it up if you don't have item slots. That way you have to make the play way into the future. Whereas Flandre, it's out of mana, and it's a little bit of an awkward trade because Mouse has a that was a lot of damage coming in from Dragon Strike. JK.
Yeah, Shen thought he had enough time to bring in Clear Love, but look at Snake all across the map, applying pressure.
Oh, there's nothing to jump. Oh, he jumped to a ward. It looked like good counter engage or disengage from Mako. And will be EDG backing up once more, but Snake have a pretty good advantage in the early game.
Yeah, take a look at this. Just using Victor ulti to push them off. This means that Mako has to base. iBoy was already back in base, but Mouse being dead because of the bot side of the map. This is a lot of free time for Snake to set up the next play. They couldn't go towards the mid lane turret, so they're going to take the secondary prize, I suppose, in the Dragon.
Snake is slowly doing it, Raz, and getting further ahead. And EDG at some point will have to make a counterplay to actually come back into the game. But you know, they should be playing around the Flandre. That's what you said, and they definitely have been. He's 4-0-2 at this point in time. Has assisted in every single kill that's happened in this game so far.
Yeah, this is probably why Flandre gets his hand on the Jarvan a lot. The fact that they have a lot of confidence in him to be able to take side lane, have that side lane pressure, but at the same time be able to be that massive team fight force. So he has Cataclysm up. He's 4-0-2. He has his 2-item build already. So I wouldn't be surprised if Snake just tried to brute force every objective. Dragon's down, so there's no focus towards that. But the mid lane turret has Snake's eye. So if you're EDG, you have to bring every member for this one because it feels like Snake will be bringing in their team for it.
Yeah, for certain. And it's all eyes on that Jarvan, honestly. And again, Scouters are also getting quite big, and so is iBoy. And it's always down to just those random Ash arrows that just hit a carry. You know, in that mid game and late game, it's just like, well, I guess this is 4 versus 5 now. So EDG still have the tools to definitely come back into this game.
That's true. That's why right now for Snake, they have to kind of work on their discipline at this point in the game. Now, Zetai, he has cleanse, so he should be fine in being able to deal with that kind of pressure with a lot of pick potential coming out of EDG. But ultimately, Crystal does have to fit a QSS within his build. There's too much pick potential in Elise, in the Ash Arrow. Actually, Ash Arrow is being picked out right now. Got fizzled. I don't know. I think they used it on SOFM.
Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah, Ash Arrow was definitely used, so.
Okay, so SOFM getting out of that scot-free by using his tunnel was actually really nice. EDG should be able to concede this turret, not having much combat power here.
Just have to push this one in. Oh, Cocoon lands. Flandre backing up. But he's on double item right now. Like, regardless of the fact that, like, he's does a lot of damage, he's actually fairly tanky as well because both of those items give you a lot of health.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why they should be able to get this mid lane turret for free. They will eventually. The only question I would say in how they're able to do this, I think Jarvan should be on the flank position and Rek'Sai should be up front to back. They're not going to fear Rek'Sai. They will fear Jarvan trying to flank their carries. That's the only thing that I could actually say. That probably would have been the difference in being able to take this turret. So it's a little bit unfortunate for Snake that they're not able to pull or push their lead just yet.
Ultimately, they do want to, push further ahead and try and accelerate the pace of the game because just giving more chances to EDG is not what they really want. If they can close this game out fast, like a sub half-an-hour victory would be perfect for Snake. Otherwise, if you get to the late game, it just takes EDG to get that one fight. Then they take a Dragon, then they take a Baron, and the game rapidly spirals out of control.
What's scary about this is I think that EDG's next strategy, wait for Scout to get his items. The only item he needs right now is Black Cleaver for him to be on side lane. In fact, I guess even before that, they're doing this now. This lane assignment is going to be important because who's going to be able to match Scout? You would say Flandre, but then who is going to match Shen on the opposite side of the map? Eventually, someone's going to have to deal with it. It would eventually be Zetai, but you don't want the Victor being in a long lane.
But mid tower falling to Snake, that's all outer turrets down. There's also meant a pretty good gold injection over to the team in the form of 5,000 gold total.
Oh,
Mouse,
they got him.
That was a fantastic chain of corruption. Flag, drag, knock up. And Mouse, he's trying to get to the edge of the wall, but fantastic follow-up as well from Flandre. That could not have been better executed from Snake.
Yeah, there were a lot of opportunities for Mouse to get out of there. In fact, he was very confident having both the Shadow Dash and his Flash. But you could see that Flandre was holding on to his Cataclysm just for that moment. So really well done. And now with Shen off the map once again, 1-4-0. It's a lot more time and opportunities for Snake to push another advantage. You'd have to believe that they would try and pressure this bottom lane turret. Oh!
Asho through the goalposts. That's a big problem for EDG because they can't stick Mouse in the side lane because, well, he can't duel Flandre, he can't duel anybody, and he constantly gets collapsed on because they don't have the vision down there either. So Snake is just playing this map extremely well.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's something about Tahm Kench that EDG probably didn't recognize. Now they have to. That immediately they can actually look for this play. That being said, a fight's about to happen.
Lucian flying for the one-on-one. He's caught out, but he'll flash away. Disco Ball comes down, but the flash, the flag, and in comes Flandre, but it was just a kill over to EDG. He dashes away here from Scout.
Yeah, and the rest of Snake are going to disengage. Flandre didn't have his Cataclysm just yet because he used it earlier on. Otherwise, he would have been just right on top of Scout. So a really good play from Scout to see that opening and just get right on top of Zatai. That's why it's so scary for a Victor to be on side lane, because he cannot handle any duelist. Definitely not Scout. So even though EDG are far behind in the gold, their composition is starting to come online because they're just completely focusing on this 1-3-1.
Yep, good stuff. Look at that BF sword from Flandre. What's that going to be built into, Raz?
That's an easy one. You know, I know you're trying to bait me into that whole IE nonsense.
Yes.
That's Guardian Angel. No.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
There it is, and picked up as well.
Oh, there we go. It actually
Yeah,
just
I was
immediately-
purposely not mentioning the cloth armor that he also had.
I didn't even see it. I just have faith in him that he's going to purchase something proper. That's pure faith right there.
Yep, Raz did not fall for the bait. But yeah, the good old days of, what was it? It was Ghostblade into Infinity Edge, and you go for Ravenous Hydra as well. Good times.
You just slam on top of them. That was the great Jarvan top lane that we got to see from the old EDG top laner, now on Cloud9. God, I wish I remembered his name. That's a sad name.
Oh no, now you put me on the spot.
See, I
It's
just
when
put you on the
look
same.
when you look at a word too often and it looks funny,
Yeah.
it looks weird, and you just like, wait a minute, is this even a word at all?
You're right. That being said, the AD Jarvan top lane was a fun time for us all. Not going to happen anymore because he did get those HP scaling points on his W. So a lot of great things happened on that one. So he's already had a great play. He's an amazing bruiser. GA, sure, it's a defensive item, but it also adds the extra bit of damage as well.
EDG, the fact that iBoy has to check his own brush just behind him with volley is absolutely terrible.
It is.
Absolutely the worst. But Snake, what are we looking for? Triple dragons just under the radar have been picked up over time. So Snake are just getting themselves more and more of an advantage. And I've seen this one before, but this time it's only Flandre, though he can actually cleave through Mouse.
It's a lot of damage. This is the scary thing about Mouse, is that he knows that Tahm Kench's ulti is up. Doesn't know up until now, of course, with Mouse, with Tahm Kench showing him on the map. So his fear is if he tries to go back and deal with the wave, he just gets jumped on by the rest of the team. So he had to base, even though he was at half HP.
Or Hoodie gets caught out by the cocoon. Scout following after, but it should be okay. It will be the disengage from here on out. And it will be backing away. Here comes a Hawk shot as well, just checking the position of SOFM and Snake. And yeah, the retreat, so complete disengage.
Alright, this is starting to get dicey for Snake because they've had this lead for so long, but it doesn't even feel that much of a lead. Eventually, they want to be able to play that Baron game or try and take Mouse down once more with Tahm Kench. And once they do get themselves that numbers lead, then they will be able to make that decisive blow onto Baron. But ultimately, it's feeling harder now just because Scout's becoming too much of a problem with that Black Cleaver finished.
Okay, so Snake actually just setting up a death rush. Absolutely classic.
The name was Ray. There we go. I had to search it up. It was Ray, who was a former EDG member, that Riven OTP.
That's the one.
And then he eventually went on to NA. Had great times
Yep,
there.
sounds like Impact? No.
Yeah.
Nope. Things have changed in NA. It's all swapped around. We have 25 minutes. And EDG, we're just kind of waiting at this point in time. They've closed the goal gap just a little, but Flandre is still a massive issue for them. It's about to Flame Horizon, actually, her Mouse, so Yeah, that's about to be very fun.
Yeah, this is when we start to look towards what other, like for me, the win condition suddenly turns into towards Zatai becoming a beast. Has the Lich Bane earlier on, but now he's going towards a Void Staff, it seems. And so how do you fight up against that? Especially with Snake starting to solidify the vision game near towards Baron. So EDG, it feels like they would need to fight this, but they can't really approach it. Not Elise. Elise would get blown up. You'd have to think Mouse would need to be there with the team for that to happen, but if they do, and that's why Mouse hasn't been with the team much, they would lose that bottom lane turret.
At the very least, the Mouse can absorb the pressure of Flandre, who is just obviously bigger and stronger and better than him right now, then that is something. But Snake, this is a power play made by them, and honestly, they do have to do something like this to pull themselves further ahead and double down on the advantage they have. Hootie gets locked in place. Right now, it will be EDG turning on towards him. They want the fight, not the Baron here.
Got the shield.
Again, a Cocoon wants it. Oh, Flandre almost one-shots the backline, but he's gone in real deep and he'll fall. But he does exchange his life for iBoy, so the consistent damage now down for EDG. But Flandre, he got an angel. JK.
Yeah, I think Snake, if they can get this kill and get out of there.
Mako's dead. 2 for 1 and the Baron. This is massive for Snake.
Yeah, big win for Snake. The fact that they can get the kill lead, but also just Baron. That's what matters here at the end of the day. They should be able to get this turret. No, they're not even going to risk it. It's not even that low either. So a smart play from Snake overall. Make use of their gold lead. So this is looking like a really good start for Snake.
It is, Raz. Where did they come from? Because it didn't seem like, necessarily came from champion selectors as such. It seemed like it just came from them. Answer that question after this replay, though.
So the focus from EDG, they wanted to fight, and they think that the fight would be made if they can get Hoodie down. Like, they can kill him, and then the fight would be much easier. The problem is that it just takes too long to kill the Kench, and they ultimately have to use culling for that. So when the fight comes in afterwards, they can't touch Zatai. They can't touch Crystal. So Snake are just far too strong because too many resources were used on the top Kench.
And this game seems like it's come down a lot to, those fights, those skirmishes, and eventually, Snake got ahead in these in the laning phases as well, of course, but it's now kind of like consolidated and gotten to the point where they are firmly ahead. It's kind of just crept up on us.
They did. It did. It's fun to see that, because a lot of it was just in how they were going to be able to use Flandre, right? Looking at both teams, Scout had a lead, Flandre had a lead. Scout was still within the laning phase, and it was up to Zatai to somehow contain that matchup as he was getting dived. Flandre had to push his lead, and it was Mouse who had to contain the matchup. Problem is, Mouse can't do that. That turret is gone. It was killed really early on, and it paid dividends for Flandre because you saw him joining the team fights time and time again, and he was really the ultimate, like, the winning factor for his team there. So if there is an MVP, and if nothing crazy happens in the next, let's say, 10 minutes and Snake somehow wins the game, then it should go towards Flandre.
Because he definitely deserved that last game as well, but they didn't win, so that's not how it works.
Yep.
But Snake pushing in the mid lane, pushing in the top lane, pushing in everywhere. At the very least, these inner turrets should just be gimmies over to Snake. I don't really see how EDG defend these. And yeah, Snake, the next challenge for them, or maybe be the next Baron, honestly, because they'll need to crack open the inhib line. But for now, it should be a pretty simple take.
They're going for it.
If they can just kill Mouse, this might open up into more. And that Chain of Corruption was a beautiful out from Crystal. In comes the Death Ray as well, and what goes up must come down. Goodbye to the leads on top of that. EDG just completely self-destructed. And this could be way more than just the top tower here.
Now, what a nice Cataclysm to follow up and all that. So ultimately, Snake are just brute forcing it. They don't need the bottom wave. They don't need the mid wave. It looks like they think they can just end the game right here and now.
That was definitely a missed call, though, because a couple members start to back away. But now with Snake regrouping and the teleport coming in from Flandre in just a couple seconds, yeah, they are doubling down and looking if they can actually pick up the game right here, right now. Scout backing up behind his tower, but he is very low. Flag drag. Where's the Cataclysm? Already used it, but Snake looking to take down the second Nexus turret.
This could be it.
Mako comes in for the defense, but the rest of the team is a little too late to the party.
They're going all in for it.
For the defense, but Snake, they just focus